tell me when you are ready, and I will start the clock.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Hi judges, back at the power pitch, I introduced my idea of Internet of Strength and performance quantification. I envisioned a B2B system of hardware and software that is distributed to fitness facilities. As we saw it being several sensor attachments and mobile apps, as you can see here. Throughout the last month, aside from prototyping, we focused on two key things: customer development and the product solution fit, to understand what are we building, why, and for whom. At first, we just assumed that colleges really is our best shot, but now we wanted to prove that our choice actually mitigates risks and increases our chance of success. By researching the industry, we proved our assumption right, and in fact, the college market has strong demand, strong spending power, and thus minimal barriers of entry. To save time, I can address the details of that discovery in the Q&A. But we also pinpointed our addressable, serviceable, and obtainable market, with obtainable being Division I, 22 Division I New York schools. Why is this not loading?
Next.
Yeah, next. Okay. Whoa. A little back. Okay, sorry for that. So, as part of, guided by Frank Rimolowski's Talking to Humans, we reached out, we sent out 250 cold emails and managed to set up 15 interviews with big name colleges, including Villanova, who won the NCAA basketball tournament recently. While we had athlete interviews, we really focused on the coach part because they are our economic buyer and the people who are eventually driving the purchase decision. Connection lost, great. Okay, well, firstly from the interviews, we found out that our average serviceable consumer spends $96,500 per athlete per year, showing that our revenue model is in fact affordable. Of course, we'll have to prove that number on the product market testing. But secondly, and most importantly, we pinpointed several pain points that, due to which coaches are losing time, they are not being able to track important metrics, and they're not able to set up effective communications with athletes. And thus, we designed our solution to be less expensive, independent from mobile, practicable in group settings, and of course, automated. During the prototyping, our number one goal was to prove the usability of the barbell component, which matters most to college coaches. By this, I mean using the sensors to collect the data of power, velocity, and reps, and then using the sensors on the barbell, actually. So far, the top row, Kyle, Seda, Ross, were actively involved in prototyping, while Vilmoza and Richard helped me with marketing and financing. We also have Nicholas and Maria, who are both experts in software and hardware, and are planning to come in mid-April. So currently, aside from InnoVention, we've gone to the final four of the Stern App Contest. We're in the semi-final of Mid Shark Tank, and we have 3 Summer Accelerator programs, applications pending. And finally, our goals moving forward: get the hardware and software people on board by April, develop MVPs by May that are made of custom hardware, mobile independent, inexpensive, and long-lasting in terms of battery, and get at least 50 coach interviews by June, and finally, raise or win money to fund our legal procedures and pilot by the beginning of June. And now to the prototype demo.
Can you bring the bar over? Okay. So, as Tim mentioned, we're here to see the prototype, right? So this is where we are. The very first screen when we open up the app is to select a device. This is Bluetooth, so we get one device at a time for now. So I connect to that. It takes a minute, it syncs up, and it says, okay, which exercise do you want to do? For now, we have a subset of 3. It's manual right now. We intend to automate it. So see, I select shoulder press. It takes me to, okay, how much weight are you using? Now, this is important because power is dependent on the mass that you're lifting, right? So we need to put that in. All right, he's doing 45 pounds. It syncs up and it's ready to go. So go ahead. We can see the instantaneous power and the velocity is being tracked. We use the power to find reps via a very simple classifier right now. This is just, a prototype. We intend to make it more sophisticated. Okay, he's done with this set. He wants to view some numbers. So we have a summary screen that's going to show him what we believe are some of the most important attributes of that workout, right? So average power, average velocity, peak power, peak velocity, and cumulative power over the time of that workout. All right, but he's not done. He wants to do more sets, so we go back. He's changed the weight. We put in a new weight. He's at, 65 now. Done, and he's ready to go. It's a little hard to tell. We haven't had a chance yet to replace the instantaneous with plots, but we'll have a plot that tracks power and velocity real time. It's just, going to track these numbers. So K is done. We get the summary screen again. We see the numbers are slightly increased. It's a little hard to tell, but this is all being obtained real time. We'll eventually, save it to disk, and then we can upload it to a server where there can be more sophisticated processing done on it. Okay, so that's all manual entry. We did have a little bit of work on more sophisticated automation processes. So we can see here the process we're using to find the reps. Very basic, right? Just needed to get something out. This is the overhead press he was doing. We also had a set of deadlifts. So what we see is actually some unique waveforms with each, right? So we can use these and leverage these. And I built very quickly a random forest classifier that does pretty good at delineating between these two. Now obviously we need a lot more than just these two, but it's a start. So we plan to expand that out. So,
question? The dollar figure you have for spending per athlete per student is an impressively high number. Do you know what percentage of that is for training aids?
So we have actually tried to figure out with the coaches that we talked to, and none of them really know that number exactly. That's something that the athletic directors actually know, to whom which we haven't spoken yet.
Do you at least know what's going into which components make up the 69, the 96, the 69,000?
The 69,000 of what, sorry?
I mean,
oh.
what are the components that go into this course?
Oh, so this is excluding athlete scholarships, right? But it's including football. Because football is really one of our best markets with a lot of players on the team. But that basically includes equipment, and then food, and then all the basic expenses that you attribute towards one single athlete during the whole academic year.
What was the coaches who provided you with feedback on your proposed product? What was their reaction to it, and how valuable it is to you?
Yeah, so the way I sort of took that, I followed the principles that are suggested at the ELAB in the book, and it's more of like analyzing their past behaviors and seeing where you can fit in our solution. And the way I sort of pitched them was that one part was hypothetical. I said, we're going to have a advice component that's going to suggest to your athletes what to do, what's wrong and all that. So that was the only hypothetical part, but the way they responded is that they really like that sort of idea of automation, that everything's going to be automatic. They don't have to go to Excel, look at these numbers, go back home, analyze numbers. It's all like that. So they liked it, but they said they don't want to take out the human element as well. They want to keep it, one-to-one interaction. So I'm going to say that the overall average was positive reaction, but I also haven't directly asked him. That's what I'm doing. What do you think?
Is this retrofittable to existing weight sets, and is this the only viable solution that's out there?
So this is retrofittable to what exists right now. Like what we envision, as I can go back to the solution slide, is everything is attachable on existing equipment, so you don't have to buy brand new things at all. And the second component, yes, there are a lot of solutions. There are several solutions that are doing it wirelessly. In fact, almost all of them, which is 10 worldwide, are doing through wireless transfer of the data. One of them doing is just through cameras and then through tablets.
So why would you win versus these other 10?
So if I go to the problem slide, the thing is that these are the main competitors, and this is how they're this is the cameras, the wearables, and then the third one is blocks that's called linear position transducers, which you put on the barbell, a rope. Right, and the last one is just software. So all of them has really specific weaknesses. So elite form cameras are super expensive. They cost $10,000 to install, then $4,000 per each one. So all the coaches that I talked to, most of them couldn't afford it. They're like, there's no way I can afford that. So I would rather go for the push or gym track or form. But then these all solutions, they depend on the mobile phone. Each athlete has to use a mobile phone, which is, let's say, a football team, 120 athletes using their phones in the weight room. Therefore, each coach told me, no mobile phones. I do not like mobile phones. And the final, the block, the transducer, it's just obvious that, you carry around the block that costs $2,000 and it's just not feasible.
All right. Thank you.